Good morning, guys. So, got about a minute or so before we get going. Feel free to grab any props you might want to use this morning. And we're going to start really in whatever position you feel comfortable with this morning. So, yogi's choice. If you want to start sitting, you're more than welcome to. Find yourself a comfortable cross-legged position. You'll notice I've got my blanket out here. So if you do want to start sitting, I recommend you prop your hips up just to kind of ease yourself into practice. Be gentle with yourself this morning. All about moving like we matter, moving like we're worth it, right? You're welcome to start on your back this morning if that is speaking to you first thing this morning. You can start in your child's pose or extended child's pose, right? Any position that works for you this morning. And once you get there, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, let your eyelids get heavy for a little while. Let your hands rest in a comfortable position wherever they lie. And start to tap into the breath. So we're not forced, we're just noticing it. Noticing where it's at. Noticing the length of the breath. And trying to the length of the exhale to the length of the inhale. And taking a moment to notice where your body is at today. Notice if you're tired. If you're maybe sore from a activity you did earlier in the week. And I think most people are probably on their winter break or some form of a break right now. So I know people here are going skiing quite a bit, so maybe you're feeling a little bit stiff from being outdoors. Notice where your mind's at. We talk a lot about that monkey mind, right? It jumps from one thought to another and it just kind of races on you. So notice where you're at today. And once you've kind of tuned into how you're feeling, let all that stuff go. Just with your next exhale, just to see it floating away. You can put that to-do list aside. It'll be there. It'll be there when we finish up here. And take a moment to give yourself some thanks for tuning in today, right? For pressing the play button. You're doing something for you, right? Because before you're able to do something for everybody else, you need to fill your cup. And so this is one of the most important steps you can do to fill your cup. And in these last couple breaths here, I don't want to keep you here too long in case you're on your back. Start to fall asleep on me. Your last couple breaths here, maybe take that little bit of time to set yourself an intention. Intention for practice. It could be something as simple as just remembering to tune into your breath. Remembering to still your mind. Be aiming to find balance, find calm or peace. We're watching Seinfeld over here, and I always think about George Costanza's dad when he was yelling, "Serenity now!" I don't want you to get to the point where you're yelling serenity now, but maybe you're trying to find serenity. So on your next Inhale, let's breathe in all together, in through the nose. And let's sigh it out through the mouth and consider that intention so. Beautiful. So we're going to make our way onto hands and knees. And I'm going to let you guys today lead the pace. And we're going to work through a couple of cat-cows. So I'm going to let you guys choose your own adventure, sort of speak here. Planting your palms underneath the shoulders, right? Fingertips are wide, nice foundation here. Heels are in line with the knees. Their shins are parallel to each other. The knees are directly underneath the hips. And I'm going to let you work through your cat-cows. Right, inhaling into your cat pose and exhaling into that cat pose. I don't know if I said inhaling into the cat, inhaling into your cow pose, exhaling into your cat. And this moment is completely for you. Nobody is rushing you. It can be as slow or as fast as you like, but try to match the movement to the breath. If you're finding some spot that is a little sticky and is talking to you, maybe you spend a little more time there. You might have been like, forget that, Marie, I'm staying in Savasana. And if that's the case, then own it, right? Breathe into it, be in the moment. You do whatever your truth is today. Taking another couple breaths here. Breathing deeply, tapping into that parasympathetic nervous system. And then once you've had enough, coming back to tabletop. Now, we're going to work into thread the needle here. So we're going to be doing a lot of heart opening and twists today, right? If you're like me, you've been indulging quite a bit in the last couple of days. And so I knew quite in advance that this was what I wanted to try to work toward today. A lot of stimulating the digestive system and all of that. So we're going to work into our thread the needle. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the left hand maybe about an inch in front and to the left of the left shoulder. And on the inhale, we're going to, starting with the elbow leading up toward the ceiling, opening the chest up toward the right hand side of the mat, planting firmly into the shoelace side of the foot. And on the exhale, internally rotating that right arm so that the palm is facing down, and sliding it in behind the heel of the left hand, And you should feel a beautiful stretch in through the back, along that right shoulder blade, maybe down into the right arm. Make sure you're planting the shoelace side of the feet firmly into the ground. If you want, you can walk your left hand slightly out in front of you to kind of help you into the twist. But we're not forcing or anything here. Once you're in this position, think about externally rotating that right arm, so that it drops the shoulder. It sends the armpit chest of the right shoulder down the length of the side body. And you're gently pressing into that palm of the right hand to intensify that stretch. Now from here, if you would like, if you're happy here, then you stay right here. But if you would like, you can curl the toes, the left toes under, and extend the left leg toward the back of the mat. And you're welcome to stay right here. Now make sure you're not putting any sort of undue stress or pressure onto the head. You're just resting the head right on that spot, slightly above where the arm of a pair of glasses might rest, or a pair of sunglasses. And if you want to take this one step further,
moving at your appropriate edge. You can swim that left hand around and behind the back and allow it to clasp the outside of the right hip. So you're kind of working yourself into a little bit of a pretzel here. Breathing deeply into the pose. Remembering if there's any sort of sensation, breathing into it. No pain, but sensation is okay. Taking another 2 breaths here. Breathing deeply. Beautiful. And we're going to unwind with our next inhale. Bringing that right arm back up toward the ceiling. A little counter pose here. And on the exhale, gently placing the right hand back down onto the mat. And we're going to work on to the other side. So on the inhale, swimming the left elbow up toward the ceiling, and then the fingertips up toward the ceiling, opening up through the full wingspan of the arms. And on the exhale, internally rotating that left arm, and then sliding it through or behind the heel of the right hand. And allowing the head to come to rest gently on the mat, right on that might rest. There's no weight on the head here, right? You're just using like a little tripod almost. You might want to send that right hand maybe slightly off the right side of the mat to kind of help you work into that stretch. We're not forcing into it, we're just moving into it with every exhale. If you curled your toes under on the other side and extended the leg, maybe you want to do the same thing on this side and extend that right leg toward the back of the mat. Externally rotating that left arm so that it draws the shoulder down. Your spine is one straight line from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head. So we're not kinking the neck or anything like that, right? Maybe if you want to, you can swim the right hand around behind the back, clasping right hand to left hip. Beautiful. Staying here for another. Awesome. And unwinding yourself. Beautiful, guys. On the inhale, coming back up to tabletop, swimming those left fingertips up toward the ceiling, opening up the full wingspan, and exhaling, lowering the hand back into your tabletop position. Now work through a couple cat-cows here just to loosen yourself up. See where you're at. Bring some movement back into the spine. Awesome. One more little heart opener here for you guys. We're going to drop the elbows right where the hands to each other. Now we're going to work into our Anahata Asana, so heart to earth pose. This tends to be a little bit intense for some people. So what you might want to do is actually, if you still have you might want to roll it into a little bit of a burrito kind of shape, or if you've got a bolster or something like that, you might want to just place it, if you're tight in the chest, you might want to place it underneath you, just so that your heart can rest onto the bolster instead of aiming for the mat. So if you're really tight here, this might be a nice option for you. Once you get into the forearms, or get the forearms onto the mat, we're going to lower the forehead down onto the mat. So again, you can bring the ground up to you, and then curl it, keeping the forearms parallel to each other. I'm just going to move this blanket out of my way. And even on the inhale, drawing the armpit chest down the length of the side body, growing broad through the collarbones, right? If you're tight in the shoulders, this will definitely be speaking to you right now. So breathing deeply. Now the aim of this pose is to bring the toward the mat, and think about flicking the tailbone up toward the ceiling. Shins are parallel to each other. Forearms are parallel to each other. And again, you've walked the knees back until a point where you are feeling sensation, but you're not feeling any sort of pain. And breathing deeply here. Staying here for another 3 to 5 breaths. A lot of emotion. This could be one of those poses where it brings something up, right? And if it does, if you feel like it stirs something, own it. Be with it, right? Breathe into it. And if you're like, Maria, you're just full of it here, no problem. We're only here for another breath or so. Beautiful. And on your next exhale, slowly coming up and out of it. Walking the knees back in. And I'm going to ask you to send the sit bones back onto the heels. And we'll just swim the fingers. And we'll take a little counter pose here in Balasana. Ideally, we want the head to rest on the mat. But if you're finding that this isn't particularly comfortable for you, you can bring the block underneath or your blanket underneath your head. Bring the mat up to you. If that's still not doing it for you, movement back into the spine. You can rock a little bit side to side, bringing some movement into the hips. Maybe you might want to massage that third eye point a little bit, and then come to stillness for a couple breaths. Just feel how the rib cage moves with every inhale and every exhale. Beautiful. Really nice work, guys. So from here, we're going to make our way back up into our tabletop position for a moment here. Planting the palms, actually sending the palms toward the front of the mat. We're going to corner dog of the practice. So legs are internally rotating. Those toes are working or are pointing slightly toward each other, right? Toward the center of the mat, I should say, I suppose. You can take your dog for a little bit of a walk here. Heels definitely don't have to touch. You can put as nice a bend into those knees as you like. Sometimes actually bending deeply into the knees is just such a lovely way to bring some nice stretching into the back, because it allows us to bring our chest down toward the thighs, and it can really be quite nice. Arms are externally rotating, right? So it's that opposition between the legs. Shoulders are pulling down the length of the side body on every inhale, growing broad through the collarbones. On the exhale, we're drawing some weight, down on those ribs, pulling them down and toward the back of the spine. And eventually finding center stillness here. Breathing deeply into this resting posture, right? Which a lot of people are like, this is definitely not a resting posture, but traditionally that's what it's called. Beautiful. And on your next inhale, we're going to bend through the knees, look toward the front of the mat, and we're going to take baby steps all the way to the front of the mat. No pace. Feet can be shoulder in your forward fold. Again, take any sort of organic movement that speaks to you today. You could clasp opposite hand to opposite elbow. You can let your fingers drag side to side as you sway from side to side. Make sure to let the head hang heavy. Maybe you can nod the head yes a little bit just to relax through the neck. Shake the head no. Lovely. And once you've had enough movement, coming into center stillness. Beautiful. From here, we're going to grab the index finger and the middle finger, wrap them around the big toes, and then clasp with the thumb. And on the inhale, we're going to grow long into our flat back position. Growing long through the back of the neck, tucking that chin ever so slightly. And on the exhale, we release all the way into our fold. Keeping that clasp of the big toe, pulling the torso gently down toward the legs. Beautiful. Bringing the hands up to the hips and inhaling halfway. Pausing here. And then inhaling the rest of the way up into our Tadasana. You might want to roll the shoulders forward, up, and back. And then come to stillness. Let the hands rest. Palms can be face out. They can be pointing towards you, wherever it is they naturally land. And we'll just take a moment here. I'm just going to move my mat forward a little bit here. Beautiful. Maybe take a minute to think about your intention. Notice where your weight is on the feet. We should have our weight equally distributed amongst all four corners of the feet. Feeling strong in our pose, right? Because Tadasana is, it really is the foundation for all of our standing postures. So such an important posture to feel strong and rooted in, and that's going to define the rest of your practice here. So breathing deeply into this posture. Lovely. We're going to work through our Surya Namaskara A, so our sun salutations. Inhaling fingertips up toward the ceiling and floating them down on the exhale into our forward fold. Inhaling into your version of flat back. Exhaling, plant the palms, step or hop the feet into plank. Externally rotating the arms. Feel free in this position to lower the knees if you like. Externally rotating the arms so that the elbow creases are shining toward the front of the mat. And on the exhale, lowering into chaturanga or all the way down to the mat. And inhaling into cobra or upward facing dog. Heels are pointing up toward the ceiling. We're planting the shoelace side of the foot firmly into the mat. And then curling the toes under, exhaling into tabletop or all the way up into your downward facing dog. If you're in tabletop, you can meet us up here in downward facing dog for a breath. Sighing it out from the mouth maybe. And on your inhale, bending at the knees, looking toward the front of the mat. We're going to step or hop up on the inhale into our flat back. Exhaling, releasing into our forward fold. Beautiful. Repeating our rise from last time. So bringing the hands to the hips, inhaling halfway. On the next inhale, rising all the way up to our Tadasana. Taking a moment here to take it all in. Breathe deeply, notice where you're at. And here we go again. Floating the fingertips up on the inhale. Exhaling, we dive down into our forward fold. Inhaling into your version of flat back. Exhaling, release, plant the palms. You can hop or step the opposite foot into your plank. This time, exhaling into all the way down to the mat or chaturanga. Inhaling into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, we'll all meet in down dog. Taking a deep breath here, finding stillness. Exhaling, bending at the knees, looking to the front of the mat, and you can hop or step your way into your flat back. Exhaling, we release. Inhaling, rising, rolling up all the way into your Tadasana. Maybe the fingertips kiss up overhead. On the exhale, maybe the hands lower in prayer position at the heart. On your next inhale, lowering hands all the way down to the hips. Inhaling, here we go again, raising the hands up toward the ceiling. Exhaling all the way down into your flat back. Inhaling, exhaling into your forward fold and inhaling into your flat back. Exhale, plant the palms and hop or step into your plank. This time we're going to lower all the way down to the ground. Forehead comes to rest on the ground, pressing the shoelace side of the feet into the mat. We're going to swim the hands down toward the thighs, palms face down, and we're going to work into our locust pose here. So think about drawing the shoulders, or the armpit chest, down the length of the side body, tucking the chin slightly so that you lengthen through the back of the neck. And on the inhale, we're going to grow tall through the chest. Head reaches forward, crown of the head reaches forward. Chest lifts up and off of the mat. Try relaxing those glute muscles. Maybe you stay here. Maybe on your next inhale, you float the hands up off the ground. Maybe you stay here. Maybe on your next inhale, you float the feet up off the ground. Think about zipping those legs together. So not letting them flare apart, but zipping them together. And remembering that as soon as any sort of sensation comes in, breathe into it. It'll be as quick to dissipate as soon as we release this posture. In another 2 to 3 breaths. Breathing deeply, feeling how the body sways up and down with every inhale and every exhale, almost like a boat, riding the waves. And on your next exhale, we lower. Beautiful. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, putting a little bend in the knees, sending the toes up toward the ceiling and letting them fall side to side. Lovely. Good job, guys. Beautiful. And allowing the feet to come to stillness again, and then lowering the legs all the way back, lowering the feet all the way back down to the ground. We're going to inhale, curl the toes under, move back into our plank or your tabletop, and exhale, coming into our down dog. Lovely. Find one moment of stillness here, breathing deeply in through the nose. Maybe you want to take a lion's breath on the way out. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling deeply in through the nose and lion's breath out. On your next inhale, bending at the knees, looking to the front of the mat, and you can hop or step into your flat back position on the inhale. Exhaling, we release. Inhale, bending at the knees, and we rise into our Tadasana. Working through that one more time. Inhaling, fingertips up toward the ceiling. Exhaling, we float them back down to the mat. Plant the palms. Inhale, we rise to flat back. Exhale, we release. Plant the palms. You can hop or step your feet into plank. And again, externally rotating the shoulders. We lower all the way down to the mat. This time we're going to work into our cobra. So planting the shoelace side of the feet into the mat firmly. Hands are underneath the shoulders, bringing those elbows in, thinking about drawing the armpit chest down the length of the side body as you elongate through the chest, and we rise into our cobra. Relaxing your glutes so we're not clenching for dear life. And exhaling, we release. And again, inhaling into your cobra. Maybe you take a bigger cobra here. And exhaling, we release. And last time, inhaling into your cobra. Not muscling into it, right? We're moving like we matter. And exhaling, we release. Curl the toes under. Bring those elbows in like little grasshopper legs. Inhale into your flat back or into your tabletop. And exhale into downward facing dog. Really nice work, guys. Lovely. Inhale, bend the knees. Look toward the front of the mat. Hop or step your way back up to the front, flat back. Exhale, release into your forward fold. On the next inhale, we rise and we arrive at our Tadasana. Inhale, float the fingertips up toward the ceiling. Palms come together. We're going to clasp the palms together in our steeple grip. Inhale through the nose, and on the exhale, we're going to reach the palms toward the right side of the mat. Beautiful. Inhale, growing tall. Exhale, reaching to the left side of the mat. Nice, guys. And bringing the hands into prayer. Exhaling, we release Anjali Mudra at the heart. Lovely. From here, we're going to step the left foot back into our high lunge. So without even looking back, just trust that we're there to catch you. Stepping the left foot all the way back into your high lunge. Hands are in prayer at the heart. You can bend that left knee a little bit. You want to get your hips centered square underneath the heart. Head is over top of the heart, right? So it's one big line from the crown of the head all the way down to the hips. And think about your hips as a bowl of water, right? We want to make sure that bowl of water isn't spilling forward. So tucking that in. Feet are on two parallel lines. Heel of the left foot is aiming straight up at the ceiling. And then once you find your alignment here, then you can work to straighten that back leg. Lovely. So from here, we're going to work into a little twist. On the inhale, growing tall through the crown of the head. On the exhale, opening the chest up toward the right side of the mat. Bringing the outside of the left arm toward the outside of the right leg, of the right thigh. Now, from here, I don't want you to muscle into the twist. So the arms aren't here to force you into the twist. You're going to, from the spine, one vertebrae at a time, using your core, on the exhale, grow tall through the crown of the head, opening the chest toward the right side of the body. We're not pressing into the hands, so you shouldn't be feeling any sort of pressure in the hands. Lowering the armpit chest down the length of the side body. Maintaining one straight line from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head. Think about where the pocket of your jeans would rest, that front pocket. Make sure that it's in line with the right and the left pocket are in line with each other. So if you notice that your left hip is dipping in order to get further into the twist, think about lifting that hip up so that it's leveling off the hip, the waist. Beautiful. Breathing deeply here. Breathing into the sensation, welcoming the fire. Lovely. And releasing on your exhale. Bring the hands to the mat. We're going to bring the right hand toward the inner right arch. We're going to externally rotate that left leg so that the sole of the left foot plants firmly into the mat. Now, we're going to work into opening the chest toward the left side of the mat, bringing the left hand to the hip. If this is a little too much for you, you can grab your block and place your right hand on top of the block just to lift the body a little bit. If you don't have a if you don't have a block, sorry guys, you're gonna bring the right forearm up onto the right thigh, right? Just to lift yourself up a little bit. If you're comfortable here, you can swim those left fingertips down and toward the front of the mat, plugging in that left shoulder, and breathing into the sensation. Beautiful. And releasing both hands to the mat. We're gonna step the right foot into our plank and we're going to flow. So exhaling into your chaturanga or all the way to the mat. Inhaling, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling, we'll all meet in our down dog. Whew, I'm working hard here, guys. Beautiful. Inhale, looking to the front of the mat. Hop or step your way up into your flat back. Exhale, release. And on your next inhale, rolling all the way up into your Tadasana. Inhale, float the fingertips up, clasping fingers together into your steeple grip. Inhale, grow tall, and exhale, reach fingertips to the left side of the mat. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, reaching fingertips to the right. Beautiful. Bring the hands to prayer, exhaling them down. Anjali Mudra at the heart. Lovely. Other side. So we're going to step the right foot over into our high plank this time. Trust that the ground is there to meet you. Feet are on 2 parallel lines. So even here, think about bending that right knee so that you can sit the pelvis, head over heart, heart over pelvis, one long line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. And once you feel your foundation is solid here, then you can start to straighten through that back leg. The right heel is spiking toward the back of the mat and is pointing, or is aligned, I guess, facing up toward the ceiling. Make sure your left knee is tracking the left foot. We're not letting the knee fall in or out. And from here, we're going to work into our twists. So growing tall on the inhale through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, opening the chest toward the left side of the mat. Bringing the outer right arm to the outer left thigh. Not forcing into this twist. We're not feeling any sort of like strain or pressure on the wrists. And with every exhale, trying to move into that twist a little bit more, but meeting your appropriate edge, right? So no pain. We're just feeling sensation and breathing into it. Notice where that right hip is. If you see that, if you notice that it's dipping below the left, so think about your pant pockets. Bring that right hip back up, because the tendency is for us to dip that hip so that we can get further into our twist. Spine is one long line from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head. Breathing deeply, drawing those shoulder blades down the length of the side body. Lovely, and exhaling to release. Bringing the left hand toward the inner arch of the left foot so that the sole of the foot plants firmly into the mat. You can bring your block, if you like, to the inner arch of the left foot. You can bring your forearm to the top. From here, we're going to place the right hand on the right hip, and on the inhale, we're going to grow long through the spine, opening the chest toward the right side of the mat. If you're comfortable here and you want to try a little more, floating those right fingertips down and toward the front of the mat. Right forearm rests next to the right ear. Think about drawing that right armpit chest down the length of the side body. Again, maintaining length in the spine, so the head is not, dipping down toward the mat. Beautiful, welcoming the shake, breathing into it, and floating the right hand back toward the mat. Stepping the left foot into your plank, and we flow. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Beautiful. Taking a deep cleansing breath here. Sighing it out through the mouth. Inhaling, bending at the knees, looking to the front of the mat. Hopper step into your flat back. Exhale, we release. Inhale, growing long through the crown of the head. We come and arrive at our Tadasana. Beautiful. Take a moment here. Lovely. And one more time through our vinyasa. Inhaling, fingertips up toward the ceiling. Exhaling into our forward fold. Inhaling into our flat back. Exhaling, forward fold. Step or hop into plank. And we flow. Exhale, plank, or all the way to the mat. Inhale, cobra, or upward facing dog. Exhale, into our down dog. Finding stillness for one breath cycle here. And on your next exhale, lowering the knees all the way down to the mat. Beautiful. Swing the feet to one side or the other. Bringing the sit bones down onto the mat. Feet are going to come out in front of you. Knees are going to point up toward the ceiling. We're going to work through, before we start to cool things down, we'll work through a couple of boat poses. So hands are going to come behind the thighs, opening through the chest again, right? Leaning back, walking the tips of the toes back a little bit. And if it's in your body today, lifting the legs so that the shins are parallel with the ceiling. Hands can stay holding on here. Important thing is that the heart shines up toward the ceiling. If it's in your practice today, you could bring the hands out in front of you. You could bring the hands up overhead. You keeping that heart radiating toward the ceiling. Beautiful. Bending and releasing the head to relax down onto the forearms. Breathing deeply here. We're going to work through one more boat posture. So coming back up to sitting tall, grabbing the backs of the thighs, reaching back, feet lift up off the ground if it's in your practice. You can stay here. You can bring the hands forward, palms face up. You could bring the hands up and overhead, right? Shining up toward the heavens. You could straighten through the legs, welcoming the shake, shining the heart up toward the sky. One more breath here, and on the exhale, release. Hugging the knees with the hands, allowing the head to rest on the forearms. Beautiful. And from here, lowering all the way down to the mat. Beautiful. Bringing the feet directly underneath the knees. We're going to work through our little bridge posture. Feel free, if you want to try to work through wheel, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to lead little bridge. If you want to have your block nearby, if bridge is one of those postures that you struggle with, own it, be with it, but you can use your block to help you out a little bit. So we're going to bring heels directly underneath the knees. Knees are two parallel lines. They're in line with the hip bones. Hands are going to come palms face down by the side of the hips, I guess. Snuggle the shoulder blades underneath the chest. And on the inhale, we're going to curl the pelvis up to start that journey of bringing the hips up toward the ceiling, one vertebrae at a time. Keep rising until the chest starts to lift up off the ground, meeting your appropriate edge. When you feel like you've met that edge, think about gently pressing in where the brim of a hat, the back of your hat would rest. Press that spot of your head gently into the mat so that you open a little gap between the chin and the chest. And if you want to use your block here, you can go ahead and insert it underneath the hip bones and just allow the pelvis to just rest on that block. If you don't have a block but you want to try that, you can go ahead and stick your hands underneath, walk your elbows in toward each other, put your hands underneath and allow your hips to rest here. It's quite a nice posture when you're able to relax into it there. Beautiful. And on your next exhale, we're going to come from where we came, allowing our spine to come to the mat one vertebrae at a time. Beautiful. I'm going to let you work through that one more time at your own pace. So starting on the inhale, drawing the pelvis up so that it starts to work make its journey up toward the ceiling, toward the sky. Maybe this time you want to take a bind, bringing the palms together underneath the hips. Maybe not. Remembering to have a little gap between the chin and the chest here. Keeping the knees parallel to each other, right? The thighs parallel to each other. And exhaling, we release all the way down. Now, instead of hugging the knees here, I want you to bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to work into Supta Baddha Konasana. So, dropping the outer thighs down toward the mat. If you have your pillows or something nearby and you want to tuck them in between the mat and your thighs just to provide a little support, please feel free. Hands can rest gently wherever feels comfortable. Breathe deeply. Oh, I don't know about you, but I can definitely feel I'm breathing deeply. Holy cow. It's good. It means you're alive, right? Beautiful. One more thing. So bring the hands to the outer thighs. Help those knees back up toward the ceiling, planting the soles of the feet firmly on the ground. We're going to keep the sole of the left foot planted. Heel is underneath the left knee. And we're going to straighten through the right leg, bringing the right foot up toward the ceiling. If the leg doesn't straighten completely, no big deal. You can flex and point that right foot a couple times. You can rotate through the ankle. Take whatever sort of movement you need. And then we're going to put a little bend in that right knee, and we're going to bring the outside of the right ankle to the top of the left thigh. So we're going to cross the legs here. You can stay right here if this is enough for you. Otherwise, you're going to lift that left leg, threading the hand through the hole that the legs are creating and clasping the back of that left thigh. And working to gently bring the right shin toward the chest, meeting your appropriate edge. So not forcing, just moving with intention. Breathing deeply, right? You should be feeling this on that outer right thigh, maybe that right glute. It shouldn't be working into your knee at all. If it is, just release out of it just a little bit. Staying here for another breath. Beautiful. And on the exhale, we'll release everything back to the ground. Planting the sole of the right foot on the mat, right knee is pointing up toward the ceiling. We're going to straighten through the left leg. You can flex and point that left foot a couple times. Rotate through the ankle one way and then the other. And then we're going to bend through the left knee, bringing the outside of the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Little bit of a flex in the left foot, just an active foot, not a hard flexion or anything. Threading the hands through the hole that the legs are creating and clasping hands behind the right thigh. You can straighten through that right leg, if you like, or you can have a bit of a bend in it. Gently bringing the left shin toward the chest, right? Feeling that stretch on the outer right thigh, the glutes, the left glute. Lovely. And on the exhale, returning everything back to the mat. This time, we're just going to drop the knees right, drop them left, a couple times, just bringing some motion into the hips. Lovely. And the next time you're on the left, the knees are on the left side, just pause there and let them drop all the way to the ground. Stretching the hands out in a big T, maybe rotating the head so that the right ear rests on the mat. One last twist. Breathing deeply, noticing how the belly rises and falls with every inhale and every exhale. nourishing the body. All of these twisting postures are so good for massaging the internal organs, right? And stimulating digestion. You might be hearing some gurgling emanating from the belly. Happy belly. On the next inhale, bring everything back up to center and just let the legs naturally fall wherever they lie on the right hand side. Sending the knees to the right. Maybe the head turns and allows the left ear to rest on the mat. Breathing deeply here. Giving thanks for your body. Thanks for yourself for showing up. Doing something for you, filling your cup. And on your next inhale, allowing the knees to come back up towards center. And then letting the feet work toward the bottom of the mat. They can stay close together, feet could be wide apart. Hands can just rest wherever they feel most comfortable. Palms can be face up or down. You listen to your body. Allowing the body to soften, allowing the eyelids to grow heavy. The jaw to relax. Noticing the breath now. Trying to still the mind. Notice if any thoughts come in, but notice them and just let them go. I'm going to quiet down for just a moment here for you. We start to wrap things up. I'm going to close with a reading. And I know this holiday season has been different for all of us, right? And there's a lot of stuff to kind of weigh us down these days. So I found this reading. It's affirmation quotes. I found it online. It doesn't have an author or anything, but it's called What to Focus On. So when you find yourself, feeling weighed down or feeling like there's just a lot weighing on you, here's a couple of things you can possibly focus on. And as always, you can take what you need and leave what you don't. Focus on your purpose. Focus on your physical strength. Focus on mental wellness. Focus less stress. Life. Focus on improving. Focus on being a better you. Focus on the brighter side. Focus on your goals. Focus on your blessings. Focus on the present moment. Focus on living life. So with that, you're more than welcome to stay in Shavasana if you have the time. Otherwise, I invite you to bring a little movement back into the body, wiggling the toes and the fingertips. You're rotating the ankles and the wrists, opening and closing the jaw, taking any sort of movement that feels natural and delicious.
And slowly making your way onto one side or the other into our fetal posture. Taking a moment there to breathe deeply and then slowly rising and coming to sit cross-legged. Keep the eyes closed. The head is over the heart is over the pelvis. Hands can lie where they feel most comfortable. I hope you'll take that reading about what to focus on. Right? We did a lot of heart opening today. So if there is something that's stirred up for you, just be with it. Ruminate on it. Accept it. Be where you're at today. And remember to focus on, remember what to focus on. I'm not going to tell you what to focus on, but remember to focus on your blessings. And I know for me, one of the things I'm grateful for is having this little community that we meet with once a week. I miss the physical interaction and seeing people in person, but at least, this is something. There's a little bit of connection here. So with that, I invite you to bring your hands up to the heart in prayer. And exhale the head down toward the fingertips, and we'll close our practice by whispering Namaste. Namaste to each and every one of you. Namaste, 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 namaste. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope today's practice served you. As always, take what you need, leave what you don't. And I hope you'll share this practice with somebody you think might benefit from it. Feel free to leave me any comments that you might have. I do like the interaction, and seeing comments and everything from everyone that practices with me. But please let me know anything that you might want to see in the coming weeks. This is our last week for our food bank fundraiser. So again, if you have anything you can donate, donations can be made through our Facebook page. There's a button there you can click on. You can send e-transfers to pranayogayyc@gmail.com, and the email is on the link in my bio. They can be made just by purchasing a non-perishable food item at your local grocery store. But if you have a little bit that you're able to spare, I'm sure it would be greatly appreciated over the holiday season. So this will be the last time I see you for this year. I wish you all the best in 2021, and we'll see you next year. Have a great rest of your day, and take care.